Yo, what's up, party people? I hope that you are well, safe, and healthy. It's been a minute. I am not that consistent when it comes to these vlogs or social media. And I think that's okay. I don't think you need to be. I think whatever pace you're moving at is the pace you're moving at, and that is totally fine. So we're in this little dance space. This space is very near and dear to my heart. It's in the town where I was born, in the Basque country. It's called Lleida, beautiful little town in the mountains. And there's this awesome little dance space that I've come upon here, and I like coming here to make moves, spending some time with my mother, and taking a little bit of a needed rest amongst the travels. So I'm just gonna try to make some moves. I'm going to kind of talk through that process, and gonna be trying some new ideas, new things, and wanna catalog that. Also just gonna do like a little recap of what I've been up to, just so I'm transparent and clear. This is definitely a selfish endeavor. I just kind of want to, catalog my process, as well as kind of have a little entry into my little journal for all the travels I've been doing and the work that I've been doing. So if you're watching, awesome. If not, that's okay too. And let's get to making some moves and do a little recap of what we've done. Yo, Editing Larkin here. We started off our almost 4-month-long journey in a place called Southampton, Massachusetts at Cli Conservatory. If you're an aspiring dancer, this is an awesome place to start. Have had the honor and pleasure of working with them for the past several years. And it's such a beautiful space and place. From there, we went on over to Hanover, Germany. Hanover, Germany has a special place in my heart. I've been teaching there, working with this community for almost 10 years. And the people, the places, the years of experiences and time and energy, it just keeps getting better and better. And I always feel so honored stepping into this place and into this community. Big shout out to Primetime, Patrick for making this possible, Riba, Fabi, Min, Taven, Vivi, Daniel, Jonas, Cosmo, Larry, Hanover. I love you all so very much. From there, we went on over to Helsinki, Finland, working on a secret project there, and I am so very excited, not only to tell you, but also to get started. Whoa. So, that was wild. And it was wild. Again, cannot wait to tell you what's going on there. From there, we went back to Germany, to Oldenburg, to a beautiful place called Maniac Dance Center. Had the honor and pleasure of working alongside Pau, Daphne, Frankie J. Oldenburg is a beautiful small town in Germany, and I felt so lucky to explore and to be there with you all. From there, we went on over to Greece, more specifically Thessaloniki and Athens. And let me tell you, the people, the places, the history, and the food were unreal and seriously astounding. Big shout out to Claire, In10sive, and all the friends, people, and places that I was able to visit. From there, we went to Lleida, Spain for the Best On, which is a choreography event that I've been watching and admiring from afar for a long time. The level and creativity in Spain is unmatched. The Best On, thank you so much for having me. To finish off the first half of this adventure, we went to Sabadell in Barcelona, David, Julia, Seoul headquarters. I love y'all. Holy recap. It has been a wild ride, but a most beautiful ride. All the people, all the places, all the lovely, wholesome, and fulfilling experiences. Dance-wise, what we're trying today is, so I'm, again, kind of like doing this process where I'm not using music for like the first big chunk of creation. And I think like the reason I'm doing that is because sometimes, and no offense to musicians, but sometimes the music like gets in the way because I'm too invested in it. I like care about how it makes me feel. I care about the story that it's telling, and it almost like keeps me from just letting out the movement that I want to make. So I'm creating without music, and The things I'm thinking about today while I'm creating are repetition. Saw a beautiful piece by a group called Campai in Lleida, Spain. Shout out to Pau and Manel and the whole Campai fam. But they do this incredible job of repetition, and I want to play with that, kind of like work on that a little bit. Also, I kind of thought of this analogy. I've been getting into chess. Why? I don't know. And the cool thing about chess is like when you make a move and then your opponent makes a move, you reorganize and reframe how you're building your defense or your attack, kind of move by move. And I think I want to create like that. So if I make a choice, I want to then reorganize all the choices after that based on that choice so that they all fit nicely together, and we take the king and we win. But yeah, so I think like trying to work on repetition and then work on this organization of all the pieces to the puzzle so that they all fit nicely together. I don't know if that analogy makes sense, but hey, it's what's in the brain and it's what's kind of like feeding the creative process. So let me show you kind of like the beginning phrase that I have. Okay, so the beginning phrase I have doesn't start with repetition. This is just like a phrase that came naturally to the body, and I was like, okay, that's coming out, I'm going to use it. So we went dish, no, dish, 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 yeah, so dish, dish, dish. Now all these are kind of like not set in stone. Dish, 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 right, dish, 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 yeah? That's kind of the first little thing, and then we kind of go hand, set, over, through, and up here. Now after this, what did I do? I went shugush, shugush, and then here's my first little bit of repetition. I come through, wah. Okay, so this little thing is my first little bit of repetition. I think those are the moves that came naturally, so I'm gonna stick with them. I want to kind of come back to repetition. That's gonna like take a little bit of effort because I don't want it to feel out of place or weird. And yeah, so these are the moves that came natural. I think like sometimes people ask, you know, how do you create? I think so often it's just like what comes naturally from your bag of vocabulary. Yeah, that's what I have. So what comes natural, I think, is next, because it's like what's inside. What inside you wants to come out, and that's what comes out. So I'm gonna go with that, kind of like drill into it and work on it. Hey, what's that? Okay, so kind of like adding on to the little chess idea. And okay, the thing is like, how do you make all the things kind of like work together and work cohesively? That's the word. Cohesively. Yeah, so as soon as I make a movement, I'm thinking like 3 steps ahead and like trying to think, okay, how can something attach to that and like work with that? Now, after this little phrase, I wanted to dig into some repetition. So a couple things. Chess. Let's talk about chess first. So we went dish, 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 ah. So here, I have this hand here and it's like preset, ready to go. So I want to like use and utilize that. We can embellish and like change our body later. And then I want to like show another pathway, show another way to get out of this. I'm going to just like trace the shape, trace, trace, trace. Stand. I've just drawn this like idea, and I'm going to like utilize that idea that I've drawn, but in a later time setting. Cool. Now we're just gonna kind of like, I think, especially with choreography, like surprise is something that I really love. So we have this shape, this form, and I just want to like break out of it, right? So I've built this really nice like picture, and I want to break out of it. Shoot. Now here comes my first little bit of repetition, and repeat, repeat, repeat. Duh. I'm gonna grab this little piece of something, whatever it is up here in my palm. Yeah. Pull it down, let it go back up. Now, this is where I want to kind of like try a little bit of repetition. So I came upon this little idea of just like wind coming past my eye, shoo, and then like a little teardrop, not too dramatic though. Whoosh, boom, whoosh, boom, whoosh, boom. And so I think like 3 is nice. It's like not too many, not too little. I also think when I'm creating this whole piece, I'm thinking within the context of teaching in class. And I think like it's important to differentiate. Am I making this for stage? Am I making this for a class? Am I making this for whatever? So let's go through that. So I grabbed the thing, hold it down, brought it back up. Repeat, teardrop, repeat, teardrop, repeat. Soup. Yeah, and I'm gonna like come out of that. So this little like explosion is gonna redirect all that small energy, small energy, small. Shoot. Ooh. Not sure where it's gonna go from there, but yeah. So repetition. So I think like a couple things I want to come back to are this idea here. I want to keep using that. So I want to come back to that and reframe it, just thinking about the chess idea. And then I'd also love to like use more body, because everything's been so staccato. Would love to use more of this, all this goodness here, good stuff, good ingredients, yeah. Yes, oh my gosh. Talking about movement and dancing is fun. It's awesome. I've talked about this in other little episodes, but like, I think so many of us in the dance realm like love figuring out and working through all these things. And to most people, I feel like it'd be so not interesting because you go online, you watch like vlogs. It's like surfing, snowboarding, and skydiving, and you know, I love just like talking through all these little ideas and what is this? Is this wind? Is this water? And what is this? A teardrop? Is this wiping your face off? Those little things, like, ooh, they really intrigue me, and I think they're exciting. Okay, here we are. We've made some serious progress. I think like the idea of thinking about it like a chess game, so like every movement you have to think a couple moves ahead so that they fit together, really helps. Just having like these small boundaries to work within, oh man, it's so helpful. Also, without music, it's so easy to make moves. Almost like when you are, at least for me, when I'm collaborating with someone, it's so easy to make movement. I think because, first of all, you see what it looks like on a body, besides just your own. But also because like you have someone next to you to like help you confirm your ideas. Like so often I just question the idea that I've brought forward in my own brain, and to have someone next to you be like, no, just go with it. Oh, it's so helpful. And I think without the music there, it's almost like that. It's like, you don't have to second guess it because you're not like pitting it against something. So for me, making without music is, at least at this point in time, it's super helpful. So, woo! So, what did we come up with? Woo! Editing magic. What did we come up with? So, I wanted to stick with that repetition idea in small ways, and then thinking about this like a game of chess, so a few moves ahead. So, we have our beginning idea, which is still a little bit blurry, which is fine. I'm gonna trace, and then I'm gonna follow that. New picture. Oh, repetition, and catch it, bring it down, let it go on, look at it, something like that. I don't know the timing yet, because we don't know the music. Then here comes that first little bit of repetition, which I think like this idea, maybe it's because I'm in, like at home, think this, for some reason, it feels like home, like wind in your eye. It just feels like home. So, maybe switching up the tempo a bit, timing. Now, from here, I wanted to kind of like get out of this like staccato movement. So I'm bringing it over and around this little point. This is my little fixed point. Over and around into another little Power Ranger stage here. So I came up with this little sequence the other day. I was choreographing with David in Salone. We made a little locking piece where we do kind of like, almost like a witch away, but flip it, and then knock this here, which brings the energy up. So I wanted to use that because it feels very chess-like, very game. You know, one thing happens and then we follow through it. So we're here, I'm gonna like come around and goosh, and that's gonna initiate my right arm, goosh, to trace all the way through, doosh, doosh, and up. So I want to think like, knee goes, bring it back. Now I'm building this all to get this one little point. So I built this sequence before, and then I had to find how they could collaborate. So the sequence was I wanted to get to here, and I wanted to get to that, and I was like, okay, gotta bring them together from this move. So I had two separate entities, and I had to figure out the path in between them. So I have this, here's right hand goes, trace, trace, knee, knee, bring it back. So I had to go up and through, right? Up and through, or this goes up through my chest, around, and place, initiates my right, to trace around, and doosh. Right, so haven't figured out how this comes through yet, but I want to come to whoa, 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 whoa. So, yeah, so coming back to this idea again, just kind of want to like keep pushing into it. How do you change it? Does it go quick? Does it go small? Does it go big? Small, 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 big, shoot, and then this like idea is going to head and right, so I like threw it, goosh, goosh, goosh. All the way around. Now this is where that chess game really comes into play. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to like place my right hand, and this is like perfect idea for a thread. So I'm going to thread through. Now my left is prepped through, around. So I think like, yeah. So I'm just kind of like thinking 3 steps ahead, which is really, really helpful. Working on the thing, not for too long, you know, maybe like an hour, hour and a half, something like that. Yeah, and I think like without music, it's so easy to fit the puzzle pieces together and to think 2 steps ahead, just because there's not that like pressure of having to hit any type of musicality or use the music in any type of way. There's not that like preconceived thing that you think you have to do. So that's really nice. I think the one thing that's tough is like knowing your peaks and your valleys. So the music really helps to give structure, and I think without that structure it's a little difficult to know like where the energy of the movement is going. So I think that's one thing that's difficult. Okay, so we made a little bit of progress. I definitely want to like do a couple things. I want to utilize this again, just because I think that's an important statement or movement. Something I've been working on recently is in my classes, I have this like improvisational kind of guided thing, and one of the things we work on is called like gestural development. And I think like all the people that I really love and admire, dancers that I really look up to, they use and utilize these small gestural ideas that they feel very like humble, honest, and like true to who they are as people and where they're from and their ideals and cultures and stuff. And I think like I want to continue to like work on that gestural development. So like picking an idea or a gesture. Of course, this isn't a gesture you use in like your day to day, but it's small, it's minute, and like I want to dig into it. So develop it, like whether it's texturally or speed or the amount of times I'm doing it. So it's something I'm working on, and I want to come back to this idea. So let's kind of like take a look at everything and see how all the puzzle pieces fit together and see if we can't come back to this. And I might stop there for today, just because I feel like I have a solid amount and a solid amount of ideas. So, yeah. Okay, let's just take a look at the whole thing, what we've got so far. So we have this first little idea, douche, 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 follow the line, picture, change, something, and zoom up. So here's my first little idea. And then I come to like snap. I want to figure out how I can like build this a little bit more around and boom, guide through and catch it up around. These are ideas that I've used before. I think I continue to dig into these. Small, around, sit, Again, it's kind of like thinking ahead. So I'm gonna like build that thread to come through, around. Again, so I'm showing this line and I'm gonna follow through with my foot, around, head, and This comes to a little stop. And I'm gonna do a little picture changes because I think like, again, I like this notion of surprise and surprising people. Not too much and not like too out of the way, but yeah, so here. And then we hop to this different shape. Around and up, set, brush it up, around, here we go, catch. Now this little idea right here, Antonio from Malaga, Spain, he made up this dance hall step called the Malaguita. And I want to try to figure out how to use that, but not in the same way, kind of like flip it a little bit. So I just ended here with this little ball, and I want to like hit it, set it down, and then like come through it or something. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at movement-wise. Again, there's no music. Maybe we can do a cool experiment where like you choose the music and I fit it to it or something like that, just to like play with how we build, how we create pieces. There's this person's name's Merce Cunningham, kind of more in the modern ballet world. He does this thing called chance theory where you kind of make up your choreography by, you can do it in all kinds of ways, but a simple example is like writing numbers that correspond to phrases on pieces of paper, tearing them all up, picking them up randomly, and then placing them in order, and that creates your piece. And I think like just playing with your process and how you build things is super important. So maybe I'll let you all choose the song, and then I'll like fit the moves to it later. bass phrase. I'm just gonna do that once really quick. Again, just thinking about repetition, how to keep an idea in there and kind of embellish upon it. I think you can take this way further. Like I've only done it in small ways just because building this piece for class rather than for the purposes of like making a piece on stage or a piece of work or a film or anything. So just keeping that in mind. But repetition, also just the idea of thinking 2 steps ahead. So that chess game, if you will. Trying to create everything so it just like comes all together. So here's kind of that base phrase. We have our little poses. Come around. Switch, 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 follow the line. Hey, picture and repeat, repeat, repeat. Catch it. Down, let go, up. Here's our first little phrase. It'll be interesting to see how that fits with the music. Shoot. Over, around, hit it. This is that chest, heart, and hop, hop, over, through, round, through, ish, shish. Oh, small, 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 over, set. Over and dish, dish, dish. So trying to involve my whole body. Then we have another picture, and we're gonna switch that. Swish, swish, around, around, through, up, tap, 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 shoot, shoot. This is our little Malaguita idea. So we're gonna come through this line, catch that, around, 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 through, and then we'll fall out. Whew. So there's our phrase. Not finished, no music. I'll let you all choose the music. I feel like that'd be a fun way to kind of like push the process. But yeah, bunch of things to think about. Repetition, how can I utilize, and push more into it. Also keeping in mind that this is for class, not for a piece. The chess idea really helps me like to actively think ahead and think about how things can come together. Also, one thing that helps is like, if I have a movement that I like and love, picking 2 of them and finding the line in between is really helpful. Yeah, and this idea of like gestural development, picking an idea, a gesture, and like developing that idea. And I think that can go way further. Again, like I'm just scratching the surface, but yeah, some things to think about. I'll do it a couple more times without music, of course, and would love your input on the tunes. Sit.